Hi everybody, thank you for clicking on my video, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Fern, like the plants, and today I'm going to be doing a video that's pretty similar to the last video I did, because to be honest, my little sister really liked it. So she wanted me to do a video that was either informative about gender and sexuality, but I wasn't really sure how to go about that video without questions from people. So I told her that her and her friends can come up with some questions whenever, and I'll do that video at a later time. But for today, she also really liked the story time vibe, so I'm gonna do a story time. And today's story time is going to be about the time that my mom illegally took me and my brothers to Florida. I was in probably kindergarten. I know that I was there for like 2.5 years, and when I left there, I went into second grade. So basically, my mother has children with 3 men, and it's a little complicated. The first man that she had a child with is, I consider him my stepdad. He met me before my own father met me. His name was Tom, and he passed away. Great man, super funny, just probably the only one that she should have ended up having a kid with. I genuinely believe that if soulmates are real, that Tom was her soulmate. Then she got with my other brother's dad, and his name is Billy. Believe it or not, he's my uncle. And that's how things get a little, because my father is my brother's dad's nephew. So Billy is my dad's uncle. I know. Now you know why I'm so fucked up. But no. Yeah, welcome to my white trash life. So then when she got with my dad, it was also pretty white trash, because I'm pretty sure she was still married to my uncle. I ended up with his last name. That's what I can tell you from that. So essentially, she keeps it in the family. She's a hot mess. I'll do other videos about this absolute wreck of a woman, but for now, all you need to know about her is that she has 3 kids by 3 different baby daddies, and that 2 of the baby daddies are related. That's enough for her for today. Well, I guess this entire video is kind of about her being messed up, but so my aunt, the woman who raised me, she was going to Florida. She had every right to go to Florida. She doesn't have kids. That's where she wanted to live. She was going to Florida. My mother, who can't just let other people have nice things, decided she would like to go to Florida as well. She had a lot less business going to Florida, as she had 3 children, all of which the fathers lived in Ohio. And I'm not saying that if you have kids with somebody, you shouldn't be able to move out of the state. What I am saying, though, is I do not condone kidnapping, especially if you're not kidnapping the child to take them from danger, or, you know. So if you're a mother who has children, if you're a mother and you're no longer with your baby daddy and you want to move out of the state, there are ways to go about that. You're for sure allowed to do that. Definitely. But you cannot tell your kids not to tell anybody that you're moving, pack up your shit, including your kids, pack your kids into the back of a U-Haul, and then move to Florida and not tell anybody until you get there if you do tell them. That's not okay. That's not something that you're allowed to do, even if you are the most entitled bitch in the world, aka my mother. You are not allowed to do that. It's illegal. And if then you do that and you end up going to jail, you're not allowed to blame anybody but yourself, because you're not allowed to do that. It doesn't matter how you feel about it. Keep that in mind. You're not allowed. Period. So she did it anyway, obviously. I think this would have made for a very boring video had she not. So she, instead of doing anything the right way, she packed up the U-Haul. She put all the furniture in the back of it. And then she put the couch with the back up against the rest of the furniture. And then that's where me and my older brother, one of my older brothers, sat. And then in front of that, there were mattresses. And that's where the other of my brothers was chilling. And then there was a cooler with like snacks and stuff and drinks. And that was it. And from what I remember, it was probably winter, because the back of that U-Haul was very cold, like so cold, incredibly cold. Cold enough that if you pack us back there with our precious pets, in which we love and probably wouldn't want to see freeze to death, they just might. They did. At least one of them. One of my memories from that whole ordeal were my brother being incredibly upset because his lizard had froze to death. So yeah, don't do that. Big disclaimer. That's not a good idea. You don't put your children and your pets in the back of a cold U-Haul and trek them across the states illegally. Whatever. So I remember we only stopped one time, I'm assuming to get gas, because it was a gas station, and they like cracked it open and she handed hot chocolates into the back of the U-Haul. Thank God, because like I said, it was freezing. I remember going in and out of sleep. I was in the back of a freezing U-Haul, or what else was there to do but sleep. My brother, who was on the mattresses, he slept for most of it, thank goodness, because I don't think any of us should have remembered that. It was like low-key pretty traumatic. So yeah, then I remember us getting to Florida and walking a boardwalk and getting bathing suits, which it was really awesome, because now that I'm remembering it, I think it was October, because I remember my mom saying that you could swim in October. It might not have been October, I don't know, but we swam at the hotel pool. And I thought that that was crazy, considering I just froze my literal teeny tiny ass off the entire ride. So we swam or whatever. We had this hotel. I'm pretty sure that they were working at the hotel. I do remember a situation in which we were living at a hotel and my mom was working at a hotel, and apparently she didn't pay them or they didn't pay her. She ended up very upset, and I remember her throwing furniture off the balcony of the hotel. Keep in mind, this is a very classy woman. She threw a TV and like chairs and stuff over the balcony of the hotel and was just like causing a scene because she was upset with the owners. We obviously ended up having to leave. But yeah, I'm guessing she was trying to get out of paying, because when we left Ohio in a quick hurry and she didn't want us to tell anybody and stuff, most definitely she did not pay the bills in that house. Like, the apartment that we lived in, she left and didn't pay the bills. she did that with a lot of the places that we lived in. She would either get evicted or she would leave before she got evicted. So you weren't getting money out of that woman. I don't know how she ever manages to find any place to live. It's hard enough finding a place to live where you can have your animal, let alone her history. So we're in Florida, like, they're getting work, we're getting established, and then we end up, I remember me and my brothers going to school at a couple different schools, but I never really kept friends because she moved so often, so I don't remember a whole lot of that. But in Florida, when we very first got there, when we were very first, like, at the first hotel that I'm describing, this woman hands little Fern her cell phone. She's like, "You're gonna call your dad." And I'm like, "Ooh, yay." Like, I was such a daddy's girl. I was excited. I was like, "Yay, like, I'm gonna call dad." She's like, "You're gonna tell your dad you're in Florida." Apparently, my dad had been trying to contact her to no avail. He couldn't get a hold of her. He didn't know where she was. He didn't know where I was, obviously, the main concern. And so when I called him and I was like, "Hey, Dad," he was like, "Oh my gosh, where are you?" And I was like, "Oh, Mom wants me to tell you that I'm in Florida." And I know now, like, what was going on, but I was pretty confused then because my grown man of a father started crying on the phone. And I'm sitting in the front seat of this car with my mom, and I'm just like, "What's wrong, like, with my dad?" She told me he was dramatic. So, yeah, I mean, I loved living in Florida. I for sure did. I would love to live there again someday. But I guess the moral of the story, and this, I mean, I'll do more videos about this, I'm sure, eventually. But the moral of this story is you don't illegally take your kids anywhere. I had sisters, like, my siblings, I just didn't get to see. That was horrible. Like, you don't do that to kids. You don't leave it up to kids to explain what you've done. To my understanding, I got to call my dad, but I don't think my brothers got to call theirs. I know that Tom's son, my brother, would have definitely appreciated to probably get to talk to his dad. I don't know about my other brother. Billy's a giant piece of shit, so it's hard to say, but yeah, you don't get to take kids from their parents, especially parents that want something to do with the kid. So, yeah, basically, don't lead by any example that this woman sets for sure. That's what I've learned. But yeah, like I said, there will be more videos like this, I'm sure, and about this topic. But thank you so much for clicking real quick. Please go ahead and leave a like for my cold, frozen off ass. And yeah, thank you. See you next time.